Tracing digital patterns in Cameo. If you're like me, you have a library of paper sewing patterns that you've collected over the years. You can preserve those patterns and more easily reuse them by tracing them into a CAD program. Tracing, or digitizing digital photographs of paper sewing patterns, is actually a fairly simple process that can produce extremely accurate patterns. I am demonstrating these techniques today using my Cameo pattern design program. You will need a digital camera or a smartphone with a camera to photograph your paper patterns. Calibration squares. It's not possible to take photographs of patterns to their actual size and scale, and so they have to be rescaled after tracing. Calibration squares are a simple way to add objects of known size to each pattern. I cut calibration squares from colored file folders or cardstock in colors that will be visible on the patterns. Taking the digital photograph. Prior to photographing your patterns, iron each pattern piece flat. Lay the patterns out flat on the floor or tabletop on top of a light-colored, uniform background, such as a large sheet. Make sure each photo has at least one pattern with calibration square in it. Take the digital photograph straight on, using a tripod if possible, and then upload the images from your camera or smartphone to your computer. If you need help in taking or editing your photos, check out my article on editing digital photographs at blog.wildginger.com. No matter what though, do not change the scale of the photographs. Tracing the patterns. Launch Cameo Pattern Design and then open the pattern file to trace. Choose Object Settings from the Cameo Utilities menu and change the color to deep pink and set the line width to 3. These settings will make it easier to see the lines and arcs against the pattern image. Choose Save As from the File menu. Enter a name for your pattern file and save it. Be sure to save your drawing frequently. Use the line, arc, and point tools to trace around the patterns. When using lines and arcs, be sure to use Snap Near Point, which is on the right mouse button, to connect the lines and arcs at each intersection. Press the space bar to repeat the last command and speed the process. Use the zoom tools to zoom into each area to place objects more precisely. If you're tracing a multi-size pattern, you can also change the line colors as you go. Be sure to trace the grain line, the marking symbols, and the calibration square. Once you've completed tracing the patterns, move the pattern image away from the trace patterns. Use the Move Point, Intersect, and any other necessary editing tools to true the patterns where needed. Draw an exactly vertical line near the pattern and use the Align tool to align the grain line vertically on the screen. Scaling the patterns. To scale the patterns accurately, choose Calculate and Scale from the Cameo Utilities menu. Select one side of the calibration square. Press the plus sign next to the Scale From box to place the length of the selected object in the box. Enter the original length of one side of your calibration square in the Scale To box. Select the patterns to scale. They will turn red once selected. Press the Apply button, and your patterns should now be the exact size they were on paper. Finishing the patterns. To finish the patterns, select all of the patterns and choose Change Object Settings from the Utilities menu. Set the line width to 1 and press Apply. Place any desired text using the Text tool. And then save the final patterns. For written instructions that follow this video, check out my article at blog.wildginger.com.